Hey folks, Matthew Weiss here, WeissAdvice.com and Weiss Advice here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be talking about VocAlign 6. This video is sponsored by Synchro Arts. Thank you very much, Synchro Arts, for the sponsorship. Now, a few days ago, I was recording Akon. I am Akon's vocal producer, as well as engineer and mixer and sometimes mastering engineer, etc., etc. So I was recording Con, and I had just gotten my hands on the beta copy of VocAlign 6, and I had it in my mind like, maybe I want to use this. There's a few things that VocAlign 6 can do that previous iterations of VocAlign can't, and the main one is that it is Pro Tools ARA compatible. What does that mean? It means that even though VocAlign is typically a destructive process, now it can be used non-destructively, which sounds like maybe not the biggest deal in the world, but actually it really opens up some creative possibilities, as we're about to see. So I had Con do some extra stacks, keeping in mind I was going to be using VocAlign to do something very interesting. Before I explain the thought, I want to play just what we recorded in.
I'll never let you go.
So this is a little atypical. Let me show you what this would normally be if I was recording without having a game plan going ahead. I would probably not be using these vocal stacks at all, these extra unisons right here. I would probably not be using these extra fifths right here. And I would probably not have these in-between lines doubled up. These would probably be just single lines like this. So it would sound more like this.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go.
So I would fill out the space using reverbs, delays, EQ, other things that are going to make the apparent sound bigger. And this is the way that we typically get that sort of very focused big sound. However, here I'm going to use VocAlign in a creative way. Normally, VocAlign is thought of as like an editing tool. It is. It is an absolute godsend for editing, because editing that would take hours. I mean, if I were to go through every one of these stacks, and every one of these I need to time align every single one, like, then this is not even a complicated arrangement. I mean, even this would take me probably like a good half hour to get through and get everything right, especially if I was doing like time stretching to make sure that all these notes were the same length and everything like that. Like, it could be a lot. And this is a well delivered vocal here. The doubles are really tight, actually. This is about as tight as you're normally going to get. So, I mean, this is not even to say that it's because the vocal is problematic in any way. But I'm going to use it differently. In my mind, I'm thinking, what if I used VocAlign to just make it sound like single takes of just one incredibly thick, wide vocal? That was the concept here. So basically, this entire layer, all this purple stuff, I want to edit it together so tightly that it sounds almost like one vocal. That's not something you can really do just by editing. It's not totally possible. So let's pull up VocAlign here. And let's start on group 1. And what I want to do is just take this first set of few layers right here. I'm going to mute everything else for now. And we're just going to work on these purple guys right here. I'm going to capture in my main take. And then, there we go. And then I'm going to capture in both of my layers simultaneously, which is something new that VocAlign can do, which I think is really cool. Okay, so I get them both in there. Now, I'm going to set this stuff weirdly tight. I'm going to set it to 0 milliseconds max difference. I'm also going to tune the pitch so that even though this is printed through Autotune, when I track Akon, I record him with Autotune in the monitoring path so he can hear how his voice is going to affect the auto-tune slash how his auto-tune affects his voice. This way he can bend the auto-tune with his delivery, if that makes sense. I don't always recommend tracking with auto-tune, but when you're using it as a creative tool, I like tracking with it. I'm going to turn this to 0% as well. We're going to match all to guide. Pitch target's going to be the guide. We're going to use Smart Align, high resolution, and high flexibility. We are going to do as much time expansion, compression, pitch modulation that we can possibly get away with. Now, the fun thing is I don't have to commit this. I can just play this and decide whether or not I like it. So I'm going to turn it off for a moment, and I'm just going to play what it sounded like before.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will.
Now let's turn this stuff on.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will.
And it sounds like his voice is going through like the coolest chorus effect ever. It's almost more like a special effect than like an actual raw take, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So now I'm going to pull in this second layer of unisons, which again, this would not exist if I hadn't been thinking to myself, what if I used VocAlign to do this? So now I'm going to click this. I'm going to go over to group 2. I'm going to capture my main take, and that's going to be the guide again. Now I'm going to capture all 3 of these unisons, and this is going to be the dub for group 2. So again, I haven't committed anything. I just have 2 separate groups with processing on them. Now in group 2 here, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to do 0 milliseconds. We're going to do super tight, high flexibility, Smart Align, all that good stuff. And now we're going to hear how it all sounds together. Now, the fun thing with the ARA, and the reason why this is so much better now that I can do it non-destructively than destructively, is let's say I do this, and in theory, in my mind, it sounded really good, but then I do this and I find that I don't like it so much. Maybe I want it to sound a little bit wider so it feels more like a party or something like that. Well, I can adjust that in real time to dial in exactly what I want. No experimentation necessary. I can then go back to the previous group, change things, go back again, make adjustments, and then finally, once I'm happy with everything, then commit it. Instead of having to do destructive editing, undo, redo, undo again, etc. So let's hear how this sounds.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a synth voice, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Now I'm going to bring this whole effect home by turning on compression to even out the levels between all the left, rights, and centers, so it feels like the volume is not dancing around the stereo field so much, and we're just all kind of staying in one place.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit.
Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing for my fifths. I'm going to unmute these. Well, actually, let's turn these. Let's mute these for a moment. Let's unmute these. And now let's pop open VocAlign 6. Let's go into group 3. And now we're going to use a completely different set. This time I'm going to use my main fifth here as the guide. And my dubs are going to be all of these, the 2 that I would normally do, plus the 2 that I'm only doing because I had this in my mind for using VocAlign during this part of the process. Okay, and now I've captured it, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the very tight, pitch matched, all that kind of stuff. We're going to say match all to guide, and let's hear how this sounds.
I'll never let you go,
works really well. Feels like one type vocal. Let's put on the compression. Let's bring in our previous parts. And let's hear how this sounds as if this is almost like only two vocals.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go.
So I think in terms of the intention of what I was doing, I think it's working perfectly. The only question in my mind is that actually better than doing something that feels more like a party in the chorus? So I'm going to go with my fifths here. Let's move over to group 3 again. And I'm going to change these settings a little bit. I'm going to loosen up the max difference, and I'm also going to loosen up the pitch tightening here. Let's see if we can get something that spreads a little bit more.
I'll never let you go, 'cause
and let's turn it to normal flexibility.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go, 'cause I can't live.
Nice. Let's pop back over to group 2. Let's do the same thing. Let's loosen it up a little bit, make it feel a little bit more like a party here, like a bunch of vocals.
I'll never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you. I admit that I will never let you go, 'cause I can't live without you.
So now it's just a matter of choosing what I like better. Do I like my original concept of creating singular vocals, or do I want it to feel more like a whole party full of vocals? Choice is totally up to me. Either way, I have that choice because I have a tool at my disposal I didn't previously have, which is giving me more power in the production phase to be creative. So I'm going to wrap up here. If you dig this video, hit that like button. If you want to catch more videos like this, hit subscribe with the bell notification so you get notified. And lastly, you know what we say here at Weiss Advice. We are musicians, sound is our instrument, and I will catch you next time.